So, honestly, wasn't really sure what to post on this subject today, so I figured I'd just reread the Bible verse that I read earlier, so I'm just gonna get into that. But also, God blessed me with a study Bible so I can actually not only read it, but actually tell you what stuff means, okay? So I actually I have a Bible app on my phone, and I'm in Exodus on that one, but I haven't read the physical copy in a while, so I'm a bit behind on this. So I'm in Genesis. So this is Genesis 18:15. Then the men rose from there and looked toward Sodom, and also, forgive me if I don't say a word right. I may not be pronouncing some of these words right. But anyways, then the men went from there and looked toward Sodom, and Abraham went with them to send them away. And the Lord said, "Shall I hide from Abraham? What am I doing? Since Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him, for I have known him in order that he may command his children and his household after him, and that they keep the way of the Lord to do righteousness and justice, that the Lord may bring to Abraham what he has spoken to him." And the Lord said, "Because the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grave, I will go down now and see whatever they have done, altogether according to the outcry against some to me, and if not, I will know." Then the men turned away from there and went toward Sodom, but Abraham still stood before the Lord. And Abraham came near and said, "Would you destroy the righteous with the wicked? Suppose there were 50 righteous within the city. Would you also destroy the place and not spare it for 50 righteous that were in it? Far be it from you to do such a thing as this, to slay the righteous with the wicked, so that the righteous would be as the wicked, so that the righteous should be as the wicked. Far be it from you shall not judge all judge all of the earth to do right. So the Lord said, if I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all the place for their sakes. Then Abraham answered and said, Indeed now, I who am but dust and ashes have taken it upon myself to speak to the Lord. Suppose there are five less than 50 righteous, would you destroy all the city for lack of 5? So he said, if I find there 45, I will not destroy it. And he spoke to him yet again and said, suppose there are 40. So suppose there should be 40 found there. So he said, I will not do it for the sake of 40. Then he said, let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak. Suppose 30 should be found there. And so he said, I will not do it if I find 30 there. And he said, Indeed now I have taken it upon myself to speak to the Lord. Suppose 20 should be found there. So he said, I will not destroy it for the sake of 20. Then he said, let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak but once more. Suppose 10 should be found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for the sake of 10. So the Lord went his way. As soon as he had finished speaking with Abraham, and Abraham returned to his place. So this part is what that all entails, and this is a part of a previous verse. Afraid of being found out, Sarah denied that she had laughed. In his mercy, God did not punish her, as he had not punished Abraham, who also laughed, but neither did he allow her to be embarrassed until to stand. She had laughed. Sarah would laugh again, but that time it would be in joy rather than disbelief. In 19:1, we found out that these men were called angels looked toward Sodom. This verse begins the account of God's judgment on the sinful cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. Again, forgive me if I'm not saying that right. And Abraham went with them. Abraham's hospitality enabled him to talk further with a living God. The Lord said, when this phrase is compared with VV 1, 2, 13, and 6, 13, 6, VV 1, 2, 13, and 19, 1, we come to the conclusion that there were angels, and the third was none other than the living God. Shall I hide the language of God in the selection? Let us hear his thoughts, as if we were were reflecting on the fact that Abraham had vested interest in the city of Sodom because Lot lived there. For I have known him. The language here speaks of the intimate relationship which motivates the Lord to accomplish his purpose and Abraham to do righteousness and justice. One idea in 2 words: genuine righteousness. 18:20, the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah, again forgive me if I'm not saying that right, suggests a moral center of the universe that outrageous sins of these cities are not an affront to the righteousness of God. I will go down now this picturely way of speaking omniscience of the Lord is embracing knowledge, highlights the sense of wonder. 11:5. There is nothing that God does not know, although we may say he comes down to see what is going on his earth. See also PS 113:4-6. The exchange between Abraham and God serves as a dramatic theodicy, if that's how you say it. Can't really pronounce certain words. A justification of the Lord's ways. Abraham's great concern, of course, was for his nephew Lot and his family. See 14:12-19:1. Abraham 18:27-32. Abraham determined to go on a bargaining, but he knew he was arguing with God, so he went one step at a time, pleading for the case of the righteous in a similar in smaller numbers from 45 down to 10. Perhaps Abraham thought there were at least 10 righteous persons in the city, but Alice, if that's how you say it, there were not, as report of CH 19 shows. 19:1 will, and I think this talks about another verse ahead. Lot's fortunes had gone very well. The gate of the city was the place where the town elders met. Ruth 4:1. Lot had become so embellished in the life of the city that he had become a ruling that's basically it for like I mean, I haven't read, but that there explains a few different verses. So, God bless.